It's rolling.
You want to marry me?
Let's talk about it.
Okay, well, give me the ring.
I can't afford that though.
Give me the ring. The ring on your cigar.
Where's the ring?
Oh, my God. Let me show you.
Oh, this one. Oh, yeah, I can afford this. Shit. This is affordable. YouTube family, how you doing? I'm Nelson Epega.
Please show him how to hold a cigar. I can't take him serious like that. That's Ray, my fiance. Very, very good guy.
No, this is not going in the podcast, by the way. This is B-roll.
Oh, this is B-roll?
Yeah.
Go f*** yourself.
Hey, guys, what's going on? I'm Nelson Epega, and I'm here with...
Cindy Stumpo.
And it's the Millionaire Blueprint. But most importantly, this episode is focused on the wonderful, the beautiful Cindy Stumpo. This is a day in the life of Cindy Stumpo. And, I mean, she showed me a lot of real estate today. And I know you guys have seen it as well. I'm wild, and I know a lot of you guys are wild. And I think the thing that keeps being stuck in my mind at this point is, how did you get from zero to where you are today as a female in the industry? Not just any female, by the way.
No.
One of the most successful female developers in the United States. How does a little Boston girl get to that kind of position in the male-dominated industry?
With a lot of hard work, a lot of tenacity, a burning desire to be successful.
Mommy, you gotta give us a lot more than that.
It's not. You're asking me to go back 36 years.
Let's do it.
Okay. So what do you think you knew at 23 years old? How much did you know at 23?
Not a lot.
Okay, neither did I. Right? So you're asking me to go back. All I can tell you what I had back then was those three things. Tenacity, a burning desire to be successful, and be the best at what I was going to do. That's it. That's all I knew.
Huh. So for those that don't know you as much as I do, right?
Yep.
Because I have a good understanding of how you started. But for those that don't know, you actually started with 2 massive homes.
I did.
As your first gig.
1989.
So for somebody that has no experience, no mentor, no dad who's in the industry, no mom who's in the industry, nothing.
No husband in the industry, no uncles, no men in my family.
How did that happen?
That's a really good question. Everybody asks me that question, and everybody's always looking for some great story. And I can't give you, if I could lie and tell you some great story, like I knew this, I knew. No. I just was passionate about building. I was passionate about design, building, and that passion I went forward and said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do with my life, and went at it. Bad years, right? So if I remember right, Black Monday was 87. Market fell apart. Stock market went in the toilet, and the real estate market went right behind it within months. Within months, not days, but a couple months into it. And there were these 2 lots, and I didn't have the money to buy those 2 lots at the time. And I'll never forget the guy's name, Bill Sherman. I can still remember. Wow, that's good, Sin. Bill Sherman. I went to Bill Sherman. I said, Bill, you got 2 lots here in Newton, Massachusetts.
Right.
But I don't have the money to buy the lots. So how's this? You hold back the paper. I'll build the homes. If I can't pay you back in 12 months with 2 30-day extensions, maybe 3, you get to keep those houses on those lots. What do you have to lose? With an interest payment on a balloon payment, interest at the end. He looked at me. He was an old-timer. He looked like an old-timer. I was 23, so he was probably in his 50s back then, which seemed old to me, by the way.
Right.
At 23. He said, okay, you know what? You got it. Balloon payment at the end, so I didn't have to carry the juice, which is interest. We call it juice here.
Right.
Didn't have to carry the interest. And went out, started to build the first one. And I said, I'm not going to build them exactly the same time. So this is how we negotiate out the deals. And I think this guy wanted me to go bad, obviously, right? He's like, yeah, I'll end up with 2 houses on my lots. And,
right, of course.
You know what I mean? Like,
of course. It's a sweet
screw
deal.
her, right?
Right.
So we were building it, and I would say maybe 60% through the build-out, a buyer came along. Because even it was bad times, there was still money here.
Right.
And people relocate to Boston.
And that was in what area of Boston was that?
That was in Newton, Massachusetts.
In Newton, Massachusetts.
Right.
Okay.
So a relocator came in, venture capitalist guy.
Right.
So I think this is like kind of a great story. I heard, like a couple times when my father had bought, like his home,
Right.
and where his business was, he bought the building, and I always heard him say, "I'll buy that, no mortgage contingency, nothing, no inspections, nothing,
Right.
cash deal."
Right.
But I didn't know what the word "no mortgage contingency" meant. I had no idea. So I said to the buyer when they came along, I said, "This is a great offer," I said to my broker, "but tell them no mortgage contingency and we have a deal." She said, "No problem, I'll go back." She said to the other broker, "Tell them no mortgage contingency and Cindy will take the offer."
Right.
And I took the asking. I didn't even,
Negotiate.
I did it. I already knew what my profit margin was. I thought the price was fair.
Right.
And why haggle? It's bad times anyways.
Uh-huh.
I'm not done with the project. A bird in the hand to me was more important. Didn't want to lose that buyer. So the funny part of the story is I wait, I call my lawyer, we go to purchase and sale.
Yeah.
We go to offer, and then we go to purchase and sale. And I told my lawyer the same thing, no mortgage contingency. And he's like, "Okay, no problem." Then I call my dad, and I said, "Dad, the first house is sold." He's like, "Well, it's not sold until you go to purchase and sale." I said, I'm already at purchase and sale. And I did it with a no mortgage contingency. He says, "Oh, okay, well,
Huh.
but here's the best part." I go, "Dad," he goes, "What?" I go, "What's a no mortgage contingency?" I swear to God.
You had no idea.
No idea. So I said
Oh
it
my
to the
God.
broker. I said it to my lawyer, but I didn't ask anybody what it meant.
Huh.
So my father said, "Wait a minute, you said a no mortgage contingency deal, then the deal's
Yeah.
done." I go, "Dad, what does it mean?" He goes, "That means the money went down hard, and they are locked in the deal."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Cindy, how do you say words that you don't know what they mean? I go, "Because I heard you say it twice in my life, so I said it." And that's, and I think he was flabbergasted. He's like, "Okay, wait, my daughter just
right.
sold." And back then, that house in 1989, going into 90 probably, sold for, I want to say, 1.4 million.
Huh.
So do the numbers, do the years of what those
Adjusted
numbers
for
are.
inflation, right, right,
And since we
right.
have a financial advisor looking at me right now,
Wait,
what
what's
would
the
that be
numbers?
worth today?
Yeah.
36 years?
Quadruple that amount. It's almost $5 million.
Okay, so today that house would sell for 5 million, which is actually true because it
Wow.
actually resold for 5 million. So you're right on the money, actually.
Wow.
So he's right on those numbers. And then I started the second one, and then I decided, do I want that house? I wasn't sure. I said, maybe I want that house. Nah, I don't need that house. I want to make the money. Again, we're still in bad times. It was really bad. 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. But for some reason, Massachusetts didn't get crushed. The guys that went under in those years was because they were completely over leveraged.
Right.
They
right.
had too much product.
Right.
So as a young person, I'm looking and watching their mistakes so I don't make the same mistakes. That's the one thing that I'm very talented in is I can put my feet in your shoes and live vicariously through you. And I can watch what you do as a mistake and I will learn the
Try to
mistake
avoid
through
those
you.
mistakes, right.
Yes, I can.
Right,
It's sometimes a gift and a curse, but and these guys were good builders back then, over leveraged. You have to also remember interest rates back then were a lot of money. We were in double
Right.
digits.
Right,
13,
right.
14% was the going rate
Right.
for construction loan money.
Right. Right.
And oh, by the way, that's a whole nother story, but we'll talk about that afterwards. Went out, built those two homes, and I was off and running. But most people start off with doing smaller deals.
Yeah.
They don't run
Yeah.
out and build a 10,000 square foot house or an 8,000 square foot house.
Correct.
That wasn't
Correct.
normal, right?
Correct.
So was I young and dumb? Maybe. Was I confident? I've always been a confident person. So I don't lack confidence.
Right.
I'm not confident in everything I do, but when it comes to business, I'm extremely confident.
Cindy, I've got to take you back a little bit, right?
Good.
I've got to take you back because the more we're talking about this, the more I'm processing it.
Go ahead.
23 years old, newbie,
Newbie,
no experience,
no experience.
10,000 square feet,
Yep.
the equivalent of $5 million today.
Right.
Not one, two of them.
Right.
How do you go about that? How did you go about that? Like
What-
how?
Well,
How did
don't
you
forget,
know
Nelson, I
where
still
to
went-
get the
I-
permits, what contractors, all of that? How does that work?
Nelson, I figure things out fast. Look, if it's something I don't want to learn, I will never learn it.
Right.
If it's something I want to learn, I will learn everything about it. So if you put something in my face that doesn't interest me,
Right.
I was a
Right.
horrific student. Because
Right.
why do I have to dissect a frog? Where's that going to get me? Pinning down the frog's legs, cutting it open. All right, I had no interest. Push that aside.
Right.
Then go
right.
to history. Didn't like that class. Go wherever I went. I didn't
Right.
care. I was a social butterfly.
Right.
Loved hanging out. Loved being with different groups of people. Like, don't stick me in one corner with one group of people.
Yes.
I'm like a poo-poo platter. I'm going to move around to all different groups of people.
Right.
That's just me, right?
Right.
Don't pigeonhole me into one group.
Right.
I'm going to be friends with all the different kids in school.
Right.
Whether back in the day there was the jocks, they called them the nerds, the cool kids, the whatever, right? I want to be friends with everybody.
Right.
That's
right,
it. That's
right.
just how I was. So
Right.
I took my social skills and I implemented it into my business skills, because business is about a people skill, right? So hiring guys that would come work for this company, all the way through, I just used everything I did from the time I can remember to the time I graduated high school was common sense, street, loyalty, and respect. And I figured if I did those things, then this would work out for me. Plus learning the knowledge of construction. But where you learn everything is on the job.
On the job. Correct.
Of course, I wasn't lazy either. I'm a hardworking person. So let's say you're the plumber, you're the framer, you're the HVAC guy, you're the electrician. I want to learn everything you know. So if I learn it from you, then I'll know if you're doing it right or wrong. And back then, those guys actually took pride in their work. So you could learn from them because it was a different generation of men. They didn't do things half-ass. They did it the right way. My learning was out there in the field. I took the action. You learn the knowledge. You take that knowledge, you turn it into more action. And then you just the hamster in the cage.
Rinse
And
and
then-
repeat. Rinse and repeat. Rinse
Absolutely.
And repeat.
So more
Right.
knowledge, more action. If you don't learn the knowledge, okay, what if we do this? You learn in school, but then you never take the action. But you got all this knowledge from reading all these books and doing all of these things in your mind by reading, but you've never taken action on anything. So where are you going? You're going nowhere. So that's why I believe action and knowledge comes together as one. I take action, I learn the knowledge. And I take more action, learn more knowledge. Took more action, learned more knowledge.
Right.
And kept going.
Right. I mean, it's a phenomenal story. I'm not gonna lie. It is.
The other thing, there have been sayings that my dad has said to me most of my life, like little things your parents say to you that maybe resonate with you and maybe they don't. And my father would say things like this to me: be humble. Don't forget where you come from.
Absolutely.
You forget where you come from, you'll end up back there.
Absolutely.
Different lines and different things that maybe your parents say to you that doesn't resonate at the moment.
But later on, it
does.
Right.
It comes together, right?
Absolutely.
But his big ones, growing up in my house, you had to work. Like, it didn't matter if my father was making money. That doesn't matter. We had jobs. My brother and I had to go to work, which is the best thing any parent can do. Make your kid go to work. I don't care if it's a paper route. Teach them responsibility. Teach them what does $10 mean back then, or $3 or $2, right?
Right.
So he made us always work. I mean, I was a cocktail waitress in his nightclubs, a bartender, you know. But was that going to be my career? No. But I was making lots of money doing that.
I actually heard about it. You were bartending in
Yeah.
the gay clubs, the straight clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were rocking
I was a
and
hustler.
rolling.
So if you're a
Right.
hustler, you're a hustler,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So you're going to figure a way to make money.
Absolutely.
I truly believe that. So if you got that burning desire
Yeah.
and you got that hustle in you,
Yeah.
and then you want to be the best, because now I get out there, Nelson, and all these guys are saying, oh, she got lucky the first sale. But they all said she wasn't going to make it. She's never going to make it out here. She's never going to make it. She'll be out in a year. She'll be out in 2 years.
Right.
Meanwhile, they all went out. So see, I always say, never spit in the water you may have to drink.
Right.
Because you might have to drink that water that you just spit in.
Right.
Those
right.
guys spit in the water and they drank it.
Absolutely. That's crazy. That's so crazy.
Everybody's got an opinion in Massachusetts about Cindy Stumpo. And I'll talk in the third party because there's been two Cindys, right? There's me that lives my real life, And then it was me that went to HGTV.
HGTV, right?
And there's me
right.
now at iHeartMedia the last
Right.
7 years.
Right.
People want to judge you. People want to dislike you. But you don't know me. So how do you dislike somebody you don't know?
Right.
So I've
right.
had a lot of hatred around me. And then, when I was married for 26 plus years, and the line that my ex-husband would say to the guys out there is, if Cindy didn't have breasts and she was a guy, would she be a great businessman? They always said the same thing. Yes, but she does have boobs. Like, so what's the fucking problem? He'd say, what's your problem? And they then, would be just like, but that he wasn't saying that to the guys that worked for me or with me. He was saying that to guys that he golfed with, or just people that just had nasty things to say. So I've had a lot of nasty, had a lot of backstabbing nasty, and to this day.
That is crazy.
Come on, up until
that is crazy.
I'd say 12 years ago, I used to Google female builders, and all that would come up 12 years ago was female bodybuilders.
Right.
Because I wanted to find, I said, come on, there's got to be another girl out here, or woman, now I'm a woman 12 years ago, doing what I do, right? I want to know how the story ends. Because a lot of builders, developers end up stroking out, having a heart attack. It's a stressful job. You're stressed out. It's a lot of stress. A lot of moving parts, and a lot of 90-mile-an-hour balls coming at your head all day long. So I want to know how the story's going to end. Couldn't find one woman. When HGTV came to me to do the reality show, Tough as Nails, I said, why me? They said, because we can't find another female in this industry that does what you do, and has been doing this as long as you've been doing it. We have women out there that work with their husbands, their fathers, but they said to me, do you know that you are the first female construction development company in the country without anybody before you, prior to you?
Wow.
So Stumpo Development is now going on its second generation
with Sammy,
right, which makes Stumpo Development the only second generation female construction company, not just in the country, but in the world.
Wow.
So that's a big deal, right? That's huge.
That's crazy.
That's huge.
That's crazy. Comment in the chat, guys, if that's crazy, because that's absolutely phenomenal.
But look, people are going to automatically assume.
Yeah.
She lives in fancy homes. She drives fancy cars. She's got this. She's got that, right?
Right.
I don't care about any of that. That's just fun. That can be gone tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it today. It could be gone tomorrow.
Absolutely.
What do you got left? If that's all taken away from you tomorrow, you better look in the mirror and like who you are.
Right.
I'm not saying we can look at humble as a lot of things, but for where I've stepped into in my life, I've tried not to lose that girl in me. And not be humble, not care about people, I'm so empathetic, it's ridiculous. And sometimes, again, that can be a curse too.
Right.
Because you give people the benefit of the doubt. Or you think you're going to change people and make them think your way. And then you finally get to a point where you go, I don't know, they're not going to change. So you accept people for who they are. Yeah. But I do remember this, Nelson. I was about 20, probably your age, 27, 28. And I called my dad and I said, and he was a great, great, great dad. And he is a great dad. I called him, I said, Dad, listen, I can't take the hits out here anymore. Like, I'm done. I can't take these men.
So 4 or 5 years into it, you were
4 or 5 years.
wanting to give up?
I can't take the hits. I couldn't take the talk. The talk was just insane. Men just bad-mouthing and bad-mouthing and bad-mouthing. And not in sexual ways. Just, she's terrible. She's a horrible person.
Now, are these subcontractors, builders?
No, none of my people that work with me.
Right.
Never. They're still with me anywhere now from 10 to 36 years.
Right.
And the ones that have left Stumpo is because they've either retired or passed away. Right. I'm 59. I started 23. Most of those guys were in their 40s. Right. So do the numbers. But he said to me, it was a priceless remark. He said, okay, Cindy, then we can do one of two things. I said, what's that? Just quit what you're doing. Go live a normal life. Go get a normal job. And no one's going to talk about you anymore. Right? Because then you'll be a nobody. Right. And when you're a nobody, no one's going to talk about you. So you can fold. Or you can be the leader that you are, the girl that I raised, and go out there and keep crushing it and fuck what everybody has to say. Literally, that's what he said. Fuck what everybody has to say. I said to him, okay, Dad, bye, gotta go.
And you
And that
went
was
back
it.
to work.
Right back to work.
That's crazy.
Right back to work.
Has that would you say that was the most depressing point of your career?
No, I've had a lot of.
You've had a lot more.
Yeah, I've had a lot of depressing in my career. Not the knowledge, not building these, the heartaches.
But certain things around it trying to.
No, no. A couple of the inspectors made my life a living hell.
Building
Yes.
inspectors.
They would come in. I'm not going to pass you on your insulation. Okay, why not? Because the insulation's not done. But buddy, you just pulled the insulation from out of the ceiling. You just pulled the insulation out. What do you mean? Just walk out, leave me hanging, making me wait for inspections for 2-3 days.
Right.
I'll be there between 7 and noon,
Right.
sitting there like an
right.
idiot waiting for the inspector to come. Because in
That's
Massachusetts,
crazy.
the licensed builder has to do the inspections. with the
Right, has
inspector.
to be there for the inspections.
Yes, they tortured my life. Tortured me.
And
But what was I
would
going
you
to do?
say?
What
would
was
you
I
say?
going to do? No, because this one we're going to stay with here for a minute.
Okay.
I went to the city, and I begged them, just please change my inspector.
Huh.
I've tolerated enough bullshit. Like, just give me another inspector.
Right. Right.
And they said, no, that's his side. Where you build is his side of the city, and he's going to be your inspector. I said, I can walk right over to the Newton Tab,
Yeah.
and I can expose this city and him for everything he's put me through. From sexual to emotional to you name it.
Wow.
Now, has he ever victimized me? No.
Yeah.
Was I a victim? No. No. I'm never going to be a victim. But did I like it? No.
Right. Right.
Did I still
right.
get out of bed every day and face the music? Yes. Did it bother me later on in life? Yes. Did it bother me at that time? Yes.
Huh.
What bothers me later on in life more than when I was younger was I would have handled things differently because I was older and more mature
Yeah.
and could have told him, but you think like the inspector's your boss out there.
Right.
So you're doing everything to make your job easier.
Right.
But I
right.
wasn't going to get on my knees and do what he wanted me to do
Right.
for
right,
nothing or for
right,
nobody.
Right.
Not with
right.
somebody else's mouth, as I told him. That stuff, that was painful. And that I have to live with, right? That's just part of life. But was I victimized by him? And I'm not his victim. But that one, and then the other one came right behind him. And then years
Wow.
later, when the city wanted him gone, then the city came to me and said, we want this guy gone and we need you. Oh, really? You let me suffer with this dude for 20 years, 18 years, now you want it?
20 years.
18 years. 18 years of torture.
Oh my God.
18 years. Tortured. Yep.
Wow.
And now you want to get rid of him.
Right. Right.
This guy
right.
chased out, in my career of the 18 years, probably 8 or 9 commissioners.
Huh.
Why he had so much power, I have no idea. But again, it comes down to who wears the badge.
Right.
Guys that work for Stumpo respected. I was married. I had 2 children. I didn't play. That wasn't my thing.
Right. Right. Right.
I'm not a cheater.
Right.
I was 23. I didn't use any sexuality to get where I want to go. I was actually more covered up out there, and I'm still covered up in the field.
Yeah.
I'll always have a big shirt on, one of those big, what they call like men's shirt, whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't using any of that, right? At
Right.
23, 24, that just wasn't me. So for them to treat me that way was pretty bad because I didn't come off that way to be treated that way.
Right. Right.
And we went in and we sat with the mayor, the commissioner, and everything. And when I said I can go next door, the remark that the mayor said to me was, Cindy, there's going to be 2 sides to the story. You can do that, but there's going to be his side and your side. And people are going to believe him, and some people are going to believe you. But I'll tell you this, you're going to blow your career because women are not going to want their husbands to be around you. I said, don't use reverse psychology with me, okay? At that point, my ex-husband said, Cindy's got no skeletons in a closet. She's been with 2 men her whole life. So until you can find a third, good luck to you, right? So the meeting came to an end, and I walked out. We were walking down City Hall, and I literally said to my ex-husband, I said, the crazy part is they're right. If I expose him, then I ruin my career because there's going to be the people that won't believe me.
Right. Right.
She's 24, 25, 26. She's built really well, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
She was probably flirting with him, whatever. And I just made the decision to say, you know what? I'm not going to let him put me out of business. I made that decision not to expose him and live in that type of torture. But it's okay. Like, I look back now, yeah, sure, there's things I would have done differently, but I can't reverse time. And somewhere he'll pay for his, I believe in karma. Whatever's going to happen to him is going to happen to him. I think I saw him in the hospital like a few years ago. He looked pretty frail and pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
I actually felt bad a little bit for like a few seconds. And
Yeah.
somebody was with me and said, "You actually feel bad for him?" And I didn't mean to do this. I swear
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do it, but my
Yeah.
foot went out
Uh-huh.
and he tripped over my foot.
Oh my God.
And he looked up and sorry.
That's the karma we're talking about, right? That's crazy. So, and again, I just want to relate it to, most of the people watching this right now.
Yep.
Do you think that business is tough on females, period?
Look, and I can't speak for the females, nor do I ever try to. I can only speak about my stories,
Yeah.
right? Every woman knows their stories out there. I only know mine.
Right.
So I would say that I don't think it's 1989, 90, 91, 92, 93 anymore.
Right.
It's not
Right.
1964 anymore. It's 2023, and things are moving. And I think if this is still going on, which I'm sure it is, there's men out there, but that do stupid things.
Yes.
But I think that I don't know what I think. Look, I can't speak for other women. I hope that if you're listening to my story, if I didn't fall into it at 23 when you're kind of young and vulnerable, then don't fall into it at 43 or 53, right?
Right. Right.
Your brain's growing. You're getting smarter as you get older.
Right.
But is it a man's world in construction or development? Absolutely. And every one of my guy friends, and Ray's sitting here watching this interview, will tell Ray, she's got it tough out there, Ray. She's got it tough. And some of our good friends, Anthony, tells him that all the time.
Yeah.
Cindy's got it tough out there because she started as a girl, and she's a woman, and she's still out there killing it. And the more she's out there and the more she kills it, it's very simple, Ray. They just want to be her, so it's easy to hate on her.
Right.
But they all say the same thing. I couldn't endure what she endured. No way. Like, it was just, must have been crazy.
Yeah. It sounds crazy.
But friends of mine will have to go
Sounds
out and
crazy.
meet people
Yeah.
at dinner that I don't know, and
Yeah.
they'll say raunchy things or stupid things.
Yeah.
And they'll be sitting with friends of mine that are loyal, and friends will defend me and say, "What, do you know her?" "No, I don't know her." "So what are you talking about her for?" "Well, let me tell you who she really is."
Yeah.
I wish Ray was kind of, in here a bit so he could
Yeah,
confirm everything I'm saying.
that would be awesome
I don't
to
lie,
say,
and I don't.
yeah.
I tell the truth. You always remember the truth. You don't remember your lies.
100%. I mean, it's so interesting. It really is. So tell
But
me.
I think Greg from Utah,
Yeah, Greg.
Greg Young, said the best. He called a buddy in Utah, and he said, "Sean, can you imagine how hard?" And Greg, I built at this level, and Greg's even above me, right?
Yes.
And he's building, he's double than that. So if I'm 18, 19, 20 million, he's doing 30 million, right? So even higher numbers than I am in Utah.
Absolutely.
But he was the first empathetic man I've met in a long time, and he's younger than me. What's he, in his 40s?
He's in his 40s.
And said to his buddy Sean Finnegan, he said, "What did Cindy Stumpo have to go through to be where she is today?" And there's the respect factor. And talking to him makes me feel better because he's asked me all those questions because he's out there in my world. He's just like, I can't imagine what it was like. I just can't, Cindy. I can't fathom it. Please tell me, what was this like for you out here? It's been a great ride. It's been a great ride.
I think that's what makes your success in this field so impressive. This is a male-dominated field.
Yeah, it is.
You look to your left, you look to your right. Every single person who's successful in this field is a male.
Right.
You don't find any females.
Nope.
Unless they work with their husbands.
Exactly.
Or for their husbands or something like that, right?
Or they're tied into some type of family business.
Absolutely.
Right.
This is the first time that I think I've seen, and even the viewers, they've seen somebody, a female, in this country who made it from the ground up, in development and construction.
Ground up.
Self-made.
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 God, let's get a round of applause.
Self-made.
Let's get a round of applause.
But
okay?
again,
Because that's crazy.
Nelson, think about this. I walked into a bank. I'm 20. Now I'm 28. Really.
Okay.
Maybe 27. Maybe Chad was born, so maybe 28. And I see the writing on the bank. I'm on Milk Street in Boston. And it said Liberty Bank and Trust. And all the letters were Asian letters, right?
Yeah.
But then it said Liberty Bank, but then all these
Yeah. Yeah.
Chinese numbers, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm going to go in there. I'm going to talk to the president of that bank. So I went into the bank, again, young and dumb and big balls, right? And I said, I'd like to see the president of the bank. And the woman said, you have an appointment? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But you know, she had a very heavy accent.
Right. Right.
But and she's trying to talk to me, but
Right.
her English was off. And I said, the guy in that glass office, is that the president? Yes. I want to talk to him. And I'm using like sign language. Yeah, but no. She's going this, but no. Please. And then a man walked out. I said, I just want to talk to the president of the bank.
Yeah.
I wasn't leaving. So they went into the glass office and they said, I saw him look at me. They came back out. They told me to take a seat.
Mm-hmm.
This was like 11:30 in the morning. It was definitely before lunch. Mm-hmm. And 4 o'clock, they start to lock the bank. I went, and I'm sitting in the lobby, right, in the bank. I'm like, they're locking the door. I got to get out of here. Like, so I get up, and the woman goes, no, sit. He's going to see you. And I'm like, now I'm nervous, right? I'm like, I'm going to be locked in a bank with a bunch of men, right? What did I put myself into here, right? I went into his office and sit down. His wife ended up coming into the office like literally like 5 or 6 minutes into the conversation. And I said, listen, this is what I have under my track record here.
Track record, right.
This is what I've done so far. And I need a bank to get behind me. And he said to me, well, let's talk. Why should we invest behind you? And I gave a lot of answers, spoke from the heart, spoke from the truth. And I remember looking at the wife and she went like this to him. Just like that. So he said to me, he said, is there a project you want to buy? I said, he went by Dr. Lean, not by Mr. Lean. He went by Dr. Lean. And I asked him, I thought at 28 he was a doctor too. Like I didn't know he had a doctorate in finance, right? I said, well, how come your name is Dr. Lean? And he explained to me. I said, okay, should I call you Dr. Lean? He said, yes, call me Dr. Lean.
Right.
Do you have a project? I said, yes. He said, okay, I'll come. This was Friday. I remember it was a Friday. I'm going to come out Monday and we're going to look at it. You're going to come out to the project and look at it yourself? Yes, I am. I said, okay. He met me on the project. But prior to that, he said to me, if I do this deal with you and I get behind you, there's two things. He said, one, I'm a betting man. And I'm betting on you, Cindy. You're going to be hugely successful. But the kicker is now, I'm going to charge you more money in interest than I charge my other builders. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. That's not a problem. He goes, excuse me? I said, no, not a problem. I will pay you the higher interest rate. But once I've proven myself to you, then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to renegotiate. Oh, he said to me, I'm sorry, you're not supposed to say okay when he told me the higher interest rate.
Yeah.
I said, yes, I am. Because once I prove myself to you, then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to hit you over the head with what I'm going to pay for an interest rate. Right now, you are giving me a shot, and I'm going to pay you more money. But when the tables turn, I'm going to pay you less money. And his wife just literally, we got up, we spoke for like an hour and a half. They unlocked the door, they let me out, met me that Monday, and I was off and running.
Jeez.
All because this one man, just, I don't know, he just believed in me.
Wow.
And he said to me, you are going to be bigger than life. Your personality's big and your business is going to be big.
Wow.
And your confidence level is nothing I've ever seen. Fast forward, TV, everything. They ended up selling the bank, Liberty Bank. I said, Dr. Lee, what am I going to do? He said, don't worry, the new bank, Central Bank out of the West Coast, will take care of this. We did one deal together. It was so difficult getting the disbursements out of California. And I called him. I said, Dr. Lean, I can't work with Central Bank. It's just too hard from the West Coast to here and the paperwork. He said, okay, I will personally finance you. I go, Dr. Lean, I love you for that, but I need to have a bank. He said, okay, fine. I'm going to take you over to Village Bank. I'm going to make the introduction, and that's where I've been ever since. He put me over there, and then as the story goes. Then, about I'd say it was about 10 years ago. He wasn't feeling well, so I went to visit him in his house. And in his library, in his house, was every newspaper article, every magazine, everything.
Oh my God, of Cindy Stumpo?
Yeah, and the daughters like have two
Oh,
pictures
wow.
on the desk and
Yeah.
on the credenza.
Yeah.
And they're like, I walked in, I went, what is this?
Wow.
And I sat down with him. I said, and the girls, the daughters went, we love you, Cindy. You're his protege. You're
Wow.
you know, you're his girl.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
he rolled the dice with you.
And it turned out to be
And it turned out to be
great
the greatest
decision.
decision he ever
Right.
made. And for me, walking down
Wow.
Milk Street that day and walking
Yeah.
into that bank,
Yeah.
don't know why I did it. Don't even know.
You just saw
What I
the
had-
sign on the door and you just
Said,
wanted to jump
what's
in.
the worst thing can happen?
That's crazy.
They're going to say no to me. Okay.
That's crazy.
But he didn't.
Wow.
And it was great. And
Is
I
he
had
still
him.
alive today?
Last I heard, he wasn't doing well. So
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Lean has got to be now probably late 80s, 87, 88, 89. I said, yeah.
That's so crazy.
It
Wow.
only takes that one person to believe in you
Yes.
to give you the opportunity. Now, again,
Yeah.
I could have fallen down.
Yeah.
I could have taken the construction loan money and bought myself new pocketbooks or a
yes.
new car.
Yes.
I made sure I used that money only for construction.
Yes.
Didn't touch a penny of it.
Yes.
Didn't use it to pay my bills.
Uh-huh.
I did it the way you were supposed to do it,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
right? So I never wanted him to lose faith in me, right? So nothing got paid out of that construction loan but those houses.
Dr. Lynn.
Lean.
Lean. Can you spell it? How do I spell it?
Dr. Lean, L-I-E-N.
L-I-E-N.
Yeah,
Type Dr. Lean in the chat
yeah.
because he did some remarkable stuff right there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
And
tell
do
me
I
this.
believe that can still happen today? I do. I do.
Oh, of course, of course, of course, of course, without a doubt.
I
Without
think
a
if
doubt.
you have that tenacity to walk in and you really can talk
Yeah.
from your heart
Yeah.
and you have that confidence to go in there, somebody's going to take notice.
But it's also the patience. You were there from 11:30 through 4:30, 5 o'clock.
No, they were closing that bank at 4 o'clock. They were locking the door. I was
yeah,
like,
you're there for
"Gotta go."
hours. So it was also patience because you could have gotten up and just left.
I was starving. I wanted to go
Absolutely.
eat something, but I wasn't going
Right.
to leave because they told me
Right.
to sit down, so I did.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting. So tell me this, HETV.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, a big deal. Of course, you're doing iHeartMedia as well. But how did the whole reality TV thing? How did that come about for you? And at what point in your career did you make
We
that
started
move?
taping Tough as Nails. I'm 59. I just turned 59. We started taping Tough as Nails when I was 48,
So 10
or
years
47,
ago. 10,
48.
11 years ago.
11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we signed a contract 12. Then we went to production like 6 months later, which brought us into, 10, 11 years. Yep.
How did that come about? Did they reach out? Did you reach out to them?
No.
Like, how did
No,
how did
I was
that work?
building a house for a producer, and he was just videotaping me on his job. Called me up and said, my waterfall that you built in my house is leaking. We built a waterfall in the house, right? I'm like, oh my God, what did we do wrong? We never built one before. Did we not waterproof it correctly? And on his big screen, there's me up on the screen. I'm like, Ed, what's that? He's like, watch. Sit down and watch you. I'm like, watch me. I can't stand my voice. Get that thing off. No, watch. Just watch you. I go, where did you get all this foot? Because I didn't realize, like, he was always.
He
I thought
had
was
been taping.
I thought he was taping things going on, us building his
Right,
house, right?
right,
Like,
right.
to save. People like to do
Right.
that, right? I go, what do you think you're doing that? And he said, it's not what I think I'm going to do with it. I've already done it. You want to go to HGTV or Lifetime? I went, what?
Ha.
That's how it happened.
Huh.
Then you go, I went to New York. We signed all the contracts. And as I'm walking out the door, they go, after you sign all the contracts, by the way, and you get your upfront money. By the way, change your phone number, change this, change that, because you're going to be a celebrity. I went, huh? In my brain, I'm going, okay, well, who watches HGTV? I really thought, like, it wasn't a big deal. I didn't realize HGTV was a cult of people. It was a cult. They put it on the minute they woke up, and they didn't shut off till they went to sleep. And then you realize, like, now your whole life changes. And then you can't go anywhere. You can't do this. You can't do that. Your world, my world changed. The minute that second episode came out, my world changed.
Wow.
Taping it was fun. I mean, it was heartache out there. It was tough. We were
Right,
taping through the
right.
winter for a spring release.
Right.
But and we were airing and taping still. We had I think the first season 15 episodes. We fell behind because of weather conditions. But if I look back now and somebody said, and I had the offer to go to Lifetime back in 2018, 19. We shot a trailer. Trailer came out great. Didn't want to do it again. I didn't want to go back to TV. It wasn't for me.
Because you were tired of what exactly?
I'll tell you what it is. You can go HGTV. It got so bad that they had to close down the first episode. They had to close down the Tough as Nails website on HGTV. So every show had their own site. And it got so bad. And then the second episode, they shut down the second episode. The first episode, they tried to get everybody under control. So Facebook was weird back then. If I went there, other people could see I went there, and they'd follow me there, and they'd see the comments. So you can read 1,000 great comments and a bad comment, and my brain just goes in on the bad comment.
Goes to the bad comment.
Yeah,
Right,
they're mad at the other
right.
1,000 people,
Right.
and then another 500 great comments, another bad.
Right.
And you're like, you don't know me, lady. You live in Boise, Idaho. You don't know who I am.
Right.
Women shouldn't speak to
right.
men that way, blah, blah, blah. And then it got bad. So it was, New York came out, New Jersey came out, Boston came out, the unions came out, and they just gravitated to taking my side. Right? You're not going to talk about her like that. You're not going to treat her like that. She's one of us. So it's funny how the East Coast, the Northeast came together and down South. And meanwhile, while all this is going on, Chad's going to school in Bradenton, Florida.
Right.
And he's going, I'm not related to her, right? Because they're like, is that your mother? Do I say yes? Do I say no? Right? So when we got really down South, things changed. The audience was like, yeah, women aren't supposed to do that. Women aren't supposed to talk like that. So, and then the Northerners were like, just because we kicked your ass in the Civil War, it got so bad
Oh
that
my
they literally had
God.
to close it down
That's crazy.
for 2 more episodes, and they brought it back.
Right.
And there's warnings if you talk that way.
Right.
I mean, it was nasty. It was nasty. You said it to me one day. You said, you've lived a big life.
You have.
I lived a big life, yes.
You have.
I have. No question.
Tell me this, right? Now, me personally,
Yeah.
and the reason why I'm saying this, again, I know you're a humble person. You don't like to do too much. But I do not know any female developer in this country
Yeah.
that's doing this on your level.
Neither do I.
None. I personally
My ice is melting outside of my cup. What's that?
I personally believe that you are the most successful female developer in the United States. Do you believe that?
For a solely started company by myself, yes. Yes, I do believe
Correct.
that. Yes, I do believe that. For somebody that has their husband or family members or maybe started brothers, sisters or walked into daddy's business, maybe not.
Or just happen to be a CEO for a publicly traded...
Well, listen, we
all
all
that
know
stuff.
that the last 10 years that big companies had to put women in the front line.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, did they earn their stripes? I don't know. Who am I to say?
Right.
But that
right.
was the game that was being played because I know a public company came to
Yeah.
me and offered me a big job, right? Because they needed a female.
Right.
Why was I going to leave my company, and thank you, honey, and go work for another company
Right.
when I know I can make more money at my company?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
But look, and even if they got the position because they're a female and they had to put females in the front line, some of them done amazing, and they've turned those companies around and have done well. But again, they had to be taught everything.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you could be the best CEO, but if you've never worked in that field and you don't know the field,
It's a completely different thing.
correct.
Completely different ballgame.
I can work in the field. I can be in the office. I can stand in your position. I can stand in the electrician's position. I can stand in the plumbers, HVAC, framers, roofers. I learned it all, Nelson. I want to know everything about what I'm doing out
That
there.
is so crazy.
So yeah, 23 years old, you have no fear.
So
24,
crazy.
25, 26, I'm walking on roofs.
Right.
Right? You're young.
right.
Like, okay, they walk on roofs, I'll go walk on the
Let's
roof.
roll.
Now at 59, I'm not going to walk on a roof.
Right.
So I have my guy come out and zoom the roof, right? Like, okay, put that thing on. Let me make sure the rubber's good. And
Yeah. Yeah.
is success easy? I truly believe it is. Can you sustain it? That's the hard part. Sustaining 36 years out here, never being sued by an end user, and I'm going to say this with not to be cocky, but with honor. I've never been sued by an end user. I've never been sued by a subcontractor, and I've never been sued by a vendor in 36 years or an end user. So
that doesn't happen
I've never
a
been
lot
sued.
in this industry.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think
get
I've ever
sued.
seen that before.
Everybody gets sued.
That is crazy.
I will never be sued because I'll always be held. I always hold myself accountable.
Yes.
We screw up, we go out there and we make it right.
Yes.
We're only human beings out here. That's what we are, building. There's going to be mistakes made.
Of course.
But what makes one developer or one builder stand out is the person holds himself accountable, goes out there, refixes their work,
Right.
and doesn't get a taillight warranty. When you
Right.
don't see my taillight anymore, the warranty's over.
Right.
That's not C Stumpo development.
That is so crazy.
We go back years and years. Look next door, Nelson. That's a client that bought that house from me 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and they're two of our best friends. We put a gate in so they can just walk instead of, because if literally you have to walk all the way down one street and two streets, even though it's right next door.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with all my clients.
That is so crazy. And speaking of clients, I mean, we saw a lot of houses today.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can drop some names, but who have you built for before?
You have to know.
That you can talk
okay,
about.
so Boston, our celebrities in Boston are our sports players.
Yes.
Right? We don't get. I mean,
Basketball players,
Dan Aykroyd came here
footballers.
because his daughter needed to go to school, so we helped Dan Aykroyd. But we don't really get celebrities, right?
Right.
Our big guys are our Celtics, not so much Patriots.
Right.
Celtics and Red Sox players.
Right.
So and Sammy used to say to me, "Mom, you are too funny. If you just watch sports, like you'd have it all." So I wouldn't really know when an athlete walked in one of my homes. So Samantha would have to say, "That's do," and I'm like, "Who's do?" Or I'd have to say to Ray, "Who's blah blah blah," like what happened with Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, wow.
And he said to me, "Do you have a male in the house with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I thought I was just talking to some guy named Floyd Mayweather a couple years ago, right? I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I go,
So you didn't know who he was?
No.
Oh, my God.
I had no idea, right? So his right-hand guy said,
Yeah.
"Why don't you go ask somebody who he is and then call us back," right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I walked upstairs, I said, "Ray, who's blah, blah, blah?" And he goes, "Seriously? He's a Tiger Woods of what?"
Boxing.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
"What? Okay, let me go down." Now they made a complete ass of myself. They're so humble.
Right.
They're good guys.
Right.
They're good with me,
Yeah.
right? And of course, I'm older than they are,
Yeah.
but at one time I wasn't.
Right.
At one time I really wasn't. My first player was Dino Raj, and that goes back to, he got traded to the Celtics. That goes back to the 80s, like late
wow.
80s. I was like, two people came in the house, a husband and wife, and they were like, I don't know, 7, 8 feet tall. Seriously, they were
Oh
so
my
tall.
God.
How tall is Dino Raj? Okay. And I'm like this.
That's crazy.
Hi. Nice to meet you two. Right? Had no idea who they were. No idea.
Right.
No idea. So, yep, a lot of players.
That is crazy.
But it's
That's crazy.
My clients are venture capitalists,
Yeah.
hedge fund guys, athletes,
Yeah.
doctors,
Yeah.
everybody, like literally, lawyers,
Right.
bigger dentists,
And I think one thing I noticed today while just going around Woodlands and Sears Road, et cetera, most of your homes happen to be in what, the $20+ million range?
We'll
What
have a
would you
starting
say?
point, and if you can stay true to those budgets, then we can keep you in that number. That's up to you now. There's allowances for everything. If you want to go past and have this and have this bell and this more whistle, yeah, the numbers are going to just keep growing. But I don't cause the numbers to grow. When I deliver a house to a client, I want to make sure I've left meat on the bone, especially my athletes, because I never know when they're going to get,
Traded.
boom, yes.
Right.
With Kemba Walker. He was away. I called him. Dude, you're getting traded? He's like, no, I didn't know that. You did. So
Right.
it's like, we hear it in the public before these players hear it, which is so sad. They should hear it first, not us hear it first.
Mama, this is
But-
crazy.
Yeah, no,
This is
oh yeah,
crazy.
and then Kemba's living next door because we're living in one of the houses, Ray and I.
Right.
Cindy, is there parties going on? Brookline Police.
Uh-huh.
Hey, is there parties going on? No parties. No, nothing. Everything's good.
Right.
Running over. Get everybody out. Move the
Tell
cars.
me
Put in
this,
my
Cindy.
driveway. Chad, what are you doing here? Get out of here.
Do you ever sit back sometimes and just think about how far you've come
No.
in this industry?
No. Ray asks me that all the time.
You've never done that.
Ray asks me that all the time. For probably
She's
the first
she's never stepped back
7,
to soak
8
it all
years
in.
of our relationship.
Ever. That's crazy.
So,
Huh.
no, he'll say to me, can you take 5 minutes and just pat yourself on the back? You say this all the
Right.
time. And just enjoy.
Right.
No, I got 5 more to close. Like, I got 8 more to do.
Oh,
I
my
got
God.
3 coming out of ground. I'm designing 7
Yeah.
more. Who's got time? I don't have time.
Right.
That,
right.
that used to be our biggest argument. He'd say, can you just enjoy?
Right.
When are you going to
right.
enjoy your life?
Right. Right.
Working, I'm enjoying my life when I'm working.
Huh.
This is a disease.
Because you're doing what you love.
Real estate is a disease.
Right.
I'm a real estate addict.
Huh.
I'm addicted to real estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
1,000% addicted.
Mm-hmm.
Deal making, moving, grooving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're negotiating contracts. You're negotiating deals on the buys, on the sells, on the build outs. Everything you're doing, right? If I stop working tomorrow, what am I gonna do? Now at 59, oh, let me take up golf. Not. Let me go play mahjong with the girls. That's an absolute not. Let me go shopping. Nah. Okay, I'll go in Louis Vuitton, buy another pair of sneakers, a pair of Levi's, and a gray blazer, and another
you're
T-shirt.
good to go.
I'm good to go. Okay, that's it. Good pocketbooks, though.
Oh my God.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, I don't. And the days, Nelson, having to be seen around Boston, those days are done. Right? Like every opening, like we got a party to go to next week for an opening of a restaurant down in North End. We'll go because he's a good friend of ours. But if I went to every opening of everything, I have no desire. I'd rather come, get on the phone with you, and talk about what you're doing.
Right.
Or if we get on a social audio device like Clubhouse,
Right.
and it's a good room,
Right.
and it's rocking and rolling, we're all learning something from each other, great. You know what I mean? I have more fun doing that than literally jumping out and going into Boston. I don't care. You want to do that in your 20s and 30s. And then there comes a time where you just go, and I really, you know what, the truth is, I didn't really care to do it in my 20s. I did it because I think I thought I was supposed to, right? I'm in my 20s, even though I was married, had 2 children. And by the way, I got married at 20 and had my first at 23. So the automatic question is, when you get married young, were you pregnant? No, I wasn't. I waited 3 years and then had my daughter. And then another 6 years later to have Chad. Okay. No wonder why I
Yeah.
waited 6 more years. Love that kid.
Right. Right. That's so crazy.
But yeah, big life.
So crazy.
A big, colorful life.
So see Stumpo, 36 years. What's next? Because I don't see you stopping.
I'm not stopping.
So
I will never stop.
what's the plan?
Have
What's
no
the
clue.
play? How's that
I don't
going
know,
now?
Nelson. Life has a weird way of working out things, right? Like, I don't know. You might step into the position. You might end up saying, you know what? 3, 4 years from now, you might say, I'll take over. I'll keep my territory in Maryland, Virginia, D.C., and I'm going to take over Boston, too. Okay? Life has a way of working out things that you don't even imagine. People meet for reasons. We've already figured out why we met, but where's that relationship? It's going to keep growing.
Right. Right. Right.
So you're only 27. In 3, 4 years, you're only 31. But in 3, 4 years, do the
31 is
numbers.
old, man. I feel old already.
Yeah, it's not old, buddy. You haven't even hit your prime.
See, Shar
So
just looked at me
prime,
right.
prime is when you're 35 years old.
Right.
35 to
right,
45.
Right.
That's your
right,
prime. Those are
right.
your best years of your life, especially when it comes to earning. Your earnings just, and you're confident, and you're confident in what you do. You're confident as a human being. You're confident in business. It's hard to have that type of confidence in your 20s because you're second guessing yourself on everything. Should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? I don't do that. When it comes to business, if I make an offer, I make an offer. That's it. Deal's done. Deal's done. I don't look back. I never say, oh, maybe I paid too much or maybe, no, never, never. When I make that offer and I go to that closing table, I'm very confident on the deal I put together.
Wow.
Always have been.
Wow. Wow.
Never second my, and by the way, who was I going to run it past anyways?
True.
Who was I going to talk to?
True. True.
Should I ask
True.
my dad that knows nothing about single family?
Real estate.
Right? Like,
Right,
well,
right.
he would say, what's it going to cost? I don't
Right.
like, he would,
Right.
even though he's a smart man, all of that would have went over his head. he couldn't build a matchbox house. I mean, I think we did one together for science. What was it called? Those ice cubes that the sugar cubes, and you make the igloos. There you go, right? And then you go to one of those places down 128, and you bought the little dogs and made them look like. Okay, that's the best thing my father could build with me. That's it. So who was I going to ask, Nelson?
So you had no mentors this whole time?
No, I never had a mentor.
Nobody to
I've
hold your
never
hand,
read a book
nothing.
on how to be successful.
Oh
I
my God!
never read any of that.
Let's get a round of applause, boys.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Why do I need to read a book on how to be successful? I still don't understand that. Why do I need to read somebody else's story? Somebody else's story is not going to get me to there.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
There's taking the knowledge. You read the knowledge of this guy or this woman, but if you don't take the action, what's the use of why'd you read the book?
Right.
I never felt like I had to read a book to be successful. I'm sorry. That's, as you guys call it, your generation, mindset. My brain, as I call it, said, well, I got to read that stupid book. My moral compass goes north, not south. And I I don't know, in my brain, I just know right from wrong. Why do I got to learn this from somebody else? Maybe if I learned this from somebody else, that would have shown me all the wrong way.
True.
And not the right way.
True.
Right? So if I'm going to teach somebody this, I teach them the right way. I teach my daughter the right way.
Right.
I teach my son the right way. And I teach my new subs coming up the right way.
Right.
So, but yes, there are people that read books all the time. They loves reading books. Me? No. No. I'm going to do it my way. As Frank Sinatra says, I did it my way.
Right. So when I say what's next, this particular question, not necessarily from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of educating others who want to do what you're doing, who want to get to the level that you're at. What's next?
For them or for me?
Are you mentoring people? Are you teaching? Like, how do you want to pass this knowledge on to other individuals watching this right now, wanting to
Very
be a
simple.
Stumpo?
I called Nelson a year ago, and it was a year ago, by the way, now, not 10 months ago.
I
need your help, and we have to do this. And he said, did you lose your mind? There's no money in this. I'm like, it's okay. We're going to do this. Do this for me. And then, like a day or two later, like Nelson does, he thinks about it. All right, Mama, we'll do this. I said, okay, we're going to do this. And then it's taken us till now.
Yeah.
Because you know how I am. Everything's got to be done.
Perfect.
I won't settle for anything but done perfect, done right, then deliver it.
Right.
Where if you're too fast, something's going to screw up.
Right.
So you got to make sure it's done correctly. That's just me. Am I an overachiever? Yes, 1,000%.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, if I wasn't such a horrible student in high school and junior high school, maybe I wouldn't be like this. I think that was the get up and go, I think every kid that grows up in a family and you respect your parents, you want to make them proud. Or my generation did anyways. I can't speak for everybody. I wanted my father to say, wow, Sin, like, I am so proud of you. Not that he didn't tell me that through my life, but I knew that, he was struggling with me in school.
Right.
Skipping classes, not going to classes.
Right.
My brother was easy. I was like the pain in the neck, right? Like, why didn't you go to class? Why didn't you go to gym?
Right.
Well, my hair would have got ruined and my makeup would have ran, so I'd have to go to gym.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I tortured the poor guy. But at the end, it all worked out. So I think that part of it was making your parents proud. And then you want your children to be proud of you. And now, at this stage of the game, I think I just do this because it's what I do. I'm not trying to make anybody proud.
Right.
I've done all my jobs there.
Right.
So whatever I do, I'm doing for me. That's it. Yeah.
Cindy Stumpo.
So, but...
Cindy Stumpo. So, Cindy, tell me this.
What's that? What do you want to know?
You being in this industry, again, 36 years.
Yep.
Doing what you do now at a level most builders, male or female, haven't seen
I'll put
before.
most guys in my back pocket. But
and
go
I'm
ahead.
pretty sure
No, I will.
You already do.
Oh, I do, and I will.
I think the biggest question for you now is: have you ever found it difficult hiring male employees because you're a female in this industry?
I think that question should be more: have you ever had a male that wouldn't work for you because you were female?
Tell me.
Okay. Yes, I had one. And we were I had a union company too, so we were non-union and union.
Right.
And the
Right.
guy walked in my office. He was a union guy. He said, Miss Stumpo, I love working for this company. He was there for maybe 2 weeks. And he said, but I can't take the harassment when I go to the bar on Friday nights. And the guys go, you work for a woman, girl, blah, 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 right? And I said, okay, so what's up, buddy? Well, I just can't work here. I said, okay, you see that door? He was in my office.
Yeah.
Not the office, my personal office. I said, Rick, see that door? Don't let it hit you on the ass on the way out. As he's walking out, I hear 2 guys stop him.
Yeah.
And I heard what they said. And they heard what he said. So one of the guys said, hey, aren't you married? Yeah. Did you have a mother growing up? Yeah. Did you take orders from your mother and don't you take orders from your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's my mother and my wife. Well, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay? And then he went home, told his wife the story, and she said, you go back there and you get your job back. Okay? You quit working for her, that woman that's got more work coming up, because again, it was kind of bad years again, 08, 9, 10, right? And she was worried. And she called me. She said, I'm sorry, but he's going to come back in. I said, no problem, he can come back in. He came back in. He said, can I come back to work? I go on the job right now. I gave him a job that he was going to in East Boston. He said, are we good? I said, we're good. He said, by the way, that was kind of a shitty remark when you said, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, but I've used that a couple times already this weekend. Right? So, and then I had guys, they love to wear Stumpo gear when they go out at night.
Right.
Right? They don't like to wear it at work. They'll wear it when they go out at night. My HVAC guy, right after COVID, he had a Stumpo jacket on, a vest, and he got divorced, and he's trying to hit on this woman, and this guy walked over and said, tapped him on the shoulders. Guy was a little drunk, said, hey, you work for that effing bitch? And my guy, John, said, okay, hun, hold on, whatever the woman was, hold on. Turned around and said, I do. Don't say another thing. Keep walking. John is a big dude. And John turned his head back to the woman that he was trying to hit on, right? And he said, well, I think she's a blah, 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 blah. And John just took his head and banged it off the bar, picked his head back up, threw him on the ground, and said, are you done now? So those guys, they protect me. We have our fights out there. We go like this. But 5 minutes later, hug, and it's done. Hug, and it's done. You're wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. If you're wrong, you apologize. We go right back to work. So you see me sitting here relaxed. But during the day, everything's Reader's Digest.
Right.
Or a guy might say to me, I have a question I want to ask you. And now I just say, have you ever asked me this question before? Yes. Have you asked me more than once? Yes. Twice? Yeah. 5 times? Then don't ask me again. Because, see, that's 5 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back.
Right.
So don't ask me again.
Right.
And then they'll turn away and walk away.
Right.
Now I have to call back and say, did you really want to ask me that question, or you need something else? Is there some FaceTime that you need? Fridays in my office is a complete shit show. They come in every Friday. I pay weekly on work performed. Like, I'm in the field with you. I know where you stand on your work performed. All right, can I get a loan? What about the other job? Yeah, I went through that one too. You're paid in full on that one too. Well, what about that job? Yeah, you're paying that one. I said, dude, do you need a loan? Yes. Okay, then just come in and ask me for a loan.
Right.
Tell me what you need, and I'll give it to you. So I'm banking Cindy too on Fridays, right? But don't waste 20 minutes of my time because there's another 20 guys out there waiting to get paid. And then they come in with all their stories too. I'm getting divorced. Okay. Well, what'd you do, you knucklehead? I got caught cheating. Well, what do you want your wife to do? Like say, yay.
So you're like a mother to these guys.
Yeah, 1,000%. Some of them are older than me.
Right.
But it's like their problems become my problems. And that's just how it is.
Right.
Ray knows. He hears the phone start ringing. It'll ring till midnight. And the phone calls will start again at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And their problems become my problems. But again, I'm who they lean on. But I think this was the greatest story is that we were in Florida, and I'll try to make this really fast. My roof is working on a roof. It's snowy. It's cold. The plumber's guy came with holes in his boots. My guy, Eddie, got off the roof, went down and said, hey, buddy. Gave him $300 and said, go buy a pair of boots. It's cold. Go to DSW down the street and buy a pair of boots. And we're in Florida, and Eddie didn't call me and tell me he did this, but Richie, the guy that owns the plumbing company, did. He said, I just want to tell you the story, what happened today. I said, oh, that was awesome of Eddie. Make sure you give Eddie back his money because you're missing the point, Cindy. I go, what's the point, Rich? He goes, you've taught us all how to be like that. You've taught us that. So then I called Eddie and I said, Eddie, with Richie on the phone, I said, Eddie, did you give Richie's guy $300 to go buy a pair of boots? He goes, yeah, you're in Florida. You would have done the same thing. So I just did what you did because you're not here. Right? So they've learned loyalty. They've learned that from hanging and being with me all the time.
Togetherness.
Absolutely.
Team.
Let's take care of each other.
Right.
Right? Like at the beginning, oh my God, the fist fights on the job sites were crazy in my 20s and 30s. Thank God their testosterone's calmed down. But like I'd have to push guys away from each other. I was newly dating Ray and oh my God, he walked into a shit show and next thing Ray did was lunge at the guy, right? I'm like, oh, and Ray's got like shoes. He's a financial advisor. And he's like, I'm like, oh, like he heard the screaming when he hadn't pulled away yet.
Right.
So that, and we just kind of, I'm the greatest Marvin Hagler. I can dodge.
Crazy.
Push them out the front door, right? Let them kill each other on the grass. No, they have to bang up the glass. They got to bang the plaster. They got to, but now that stuff has calmed down. But I would always say to them, stop throwing each other under the bus. Richie, you got a problem with John, go to John. Go to Richie. You guys, you figure it out. Don't call me and start shitting on this guy. Because John's eating up all the bays doing the HVAC. He's leaving me no bays for my plumbing. And then electric. Guys, figure it out. Figure it out. Don't come to me for this shit. Work together. So, and that's how I've taught them. Work together and stop being little rats. I don't like rats, by the way.
That's so crazy.
Do not like rats. I don't like people that tell on people. What you see here right now, I'm relaxed. On my job sites, I'm a whole other person.
Absolutely crazy.
I'm a nut. This job will make you nutty.
Right.
But you had to be a little nutty to get into it.
Right.
And you get nuttier as you go on.
Right. Okay.
Because it comes to a point where you just can't do dumb anymore.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Absolutely.
I'm at that point in my life. No more dumb. Patience bucket is empty. No more left.
I've got one more question for you.
Go ahead.
Right. One more question everybody in here wants to know.
What's that?
You're in a position now, 36 years in this industry, right? Having built homes for some of the most successful people, 36 years in, $1 billion plus. You're too humble to tell me the number, but if you were to go back today to that little girl in her 20s,
Yeah.
knowing what you know now,
Yes.
would you do anything different?
Not a thing. Not a thing. And if you said to me, would you still marry the same man knowing that you're going to get divorced?
Yeah.
That answer would be the same thing too. I would have done nothing different. Because I wouldn't be where I am today if I had done one thing different.
Wow. Without all those dominoes falling, basically.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
You have to feel bad to feel good. Right? You don't know good unless you've been felt bad. Right? You don't know happy unless you've been sad. Right? You need to feel everything. So no, I would not change a thing. Because all those places that I've been through in my life, and I've had a very colorful young childhood, teenage years, from my dad getting shot in the house. I mean, Ray there, nightclub closing down.
Ray was there when that happened?
Yeah, cuckoo.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Jesus
I
Christ.
love the family I was raised in.
Yeah.
That environment taught me street, taught me common sense, taught me survival. Right? You have to be a survivor out here. You want to be successful, you need to learn how to have survival skills. You have to learn to pick up that phone even when you know it's going to be bad news. Even when you know the person's going to flip out on you. Right? I might own the company. Doesn't matter. Everybody has somebody to answer to. Right? So my clients are my boss. End of story. Right? I might own the shingle, but I'm always answering to somebody. But to change anything, and I always say this to Ray, right? Ray will say, you're like, why do we need that person in our life? Like, why do we need any more friends? So he's very black and white in his personality, and I'm very gray. So I always say to Ray, if you change one thing about me, then you change everything about me.
You.
So don't try to change that one thing, because that one thing might turn into somebody you don't like. You have to learn at a young age, if you're a working mom, how do you not bring that stress and putting into your children? You're walking through that door stressed out. This is not an easy job. It's a great job, but it's not easy. So you had to figure out, okay, I got to go home now and put my mummy cap on, right? And I don't want to hold my baby and make my baby feel that anxiety that's coming through me, right? So I've always had to found a way. You guys call it pivoting, and I always say I had to find a way to be a working mom, right? So I always say this. I didn't have quantity time with my kids, but I have always had great quality time. So what's the sense of being a stay-home mom or working mom or whatever you are, and you're always screaming, shouting, screaming, shouting? Because I was a working mom, I didn't want to come home and scream and shout. You know, you have do your homework, do this, do that. Let's get get them bathed, blah blah blah. So try doing all that. Try wearing a hard hat all day and then coming home and putting your mummy cap on.
Oh my God!
Right? It's hard. It's not easy, but
Wow.
you do it. Like Nike says,
Right.
you just do it.
Right. Right.
I don't complain about it. I just do it.
Right. Right.
So
right.
that personality works. When people get sick in this family, I'm the one that jumps in. I'm the person you'll call at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the friend I am. So, no, I wouldn't change anything. I like
That's
Cindy.
so crazy.
So when you look in the mirror and you like the reflection looking back, and I don't mean how you physically look,
Yeah.
but if you know when you look in that mirror,
Yeah.
your moral compass is going north,
Yeah.
and you like who you are,
Yeah.
then why do I want to change? I know I can be cutting, and I know my delivery can suck at times. But I will give you this. My intent's always 1,000%. You might not like my delivery.
Right, right.
Don't ask me my opinion,
Right. Right.
because then I won't give
right.
it. Ray will tell you I give it even though he doesn't ask, right? But it's just, you're opinionated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm opinionated all day long. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of, so you have to learn how to turn the volume down. And you have to learn to hold yourself accountable. And it just happened last week with Ray. I said something, and then he left to go to work, and I said, you know what, I apologize. I was wrong. If you can't say you're sorry, then there's something wrong with your brain,
100%.
because you can't always be right out there.
100%.
You have to know those words, I'm sorry. Because if you don't know how to
100%.
maneuver around a
100%.
bunch of people's personalities,
Right.
you can never be successful.
Absolutely.
But I promise you this, you will always learn from somebody that's older than you. You will
Absolutely.
always learn from somebody that knows their business better than you do.
Absolutely.
If you're a newbie, learn from somebody that knows it, that has succeeded.
Absolutely.
You better be better than me
Right.
to teach me.
Right.
36
right,
years?
Right.
What don't I know in real estate from A to Z? A to Z. What game haven't I played? Every game. You name it, I can do it. When I watch guys like Bradley, and we'll make this fast, right? And I love Bradley. But if I came off like that as a female, or, you know, I listen to men that put themselves out there and they're, you know, confidence, they're confident. But if a woman does that, oh, she's cocky, she's this, she's that.
Right,
So I always have to
right.
make sure in interviews, I have to not be totally who I am. Because then people start sizing me up as
X
raw,
or Y or Z or whatever. Right.
But if I had got in front of a mic and was really Cindy and did, and Ray will tell you, I love Bradley's stuff. I laugh. He
So
he
Brad-
smokes that
Bradley's the
cigar.
reason why we got a cigar in here right now.
Exactly. I said, you got to light a cigar.
Right.
I can't light the cigar because I'll be made fun of.
Right.
But there's the difference between a man and a woman right there. If I get out there and act all cocky and roll, you know, hold a cigar, whatever, you know, give you the look and tell you to do it, it doesn't fly. Women
100%.
can't do that.
100%.
And it's unfortunate.
Right.
It's unfortunate.
Right.
But they're going to be judged. So that's it.
Cindy Stumpo, I appreciate you for this. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you, buddy. I love you, Nelson.
listen, if you enjoy this, I want you to type the letters MBP in the chat right now. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. This is truly, truly incredible. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
I have a question for him.
What?
In the 3 years you've known me, and you really got to know me the last 2.5 years, how much has your game stepped up in building?
A lot. A lot.
So
You've
you've
taught
learned.
me a lot.
Okay.
But I've also learned a lot today.
Today.
Seeing your stuff in person, mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. So yes.
Yeah, you're there.
I'm still the baby.
No, you're not. Did you ever think that you would have a fund 2 years ago?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're going to keep scaling. That's what it is.
100%.
You're taking action every day.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Millionaire Blueprint. If you want to learn real estate the right way from one of the greatest to ever do it and one of the youngest in it, click this link right now. Get in while you can, and Cindy and I will be able to teach you the real estate game.